What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Crush City Territory. I'm Chandler Rome, along with Tyler Stafford, after the Astros outscored the Los Angeles Dodgers 29-6 in a three-game sweep at Dodger Stadium. The first time the Astros have swept the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium since 2008. Tyler, the Astros have won 19 of their past 24 games. They are now 20 games over 500. They have a 7-game lead in the American League West. The question that I think we have to pose now, after what they did to the Dodgers this weekend, after what they did to the Phillies and the Cubs on this past homestand, the only question left to answer is, are the Astros the best team in baseball?
I'm not scared of anybody else. I mean, look, anything can happen in a short series, which means anything can happen in a short series for the Astros as well. And when you've got two of the best pitchers in baseball, you've got just a nasty bullpen. You've got guys who can just consistently take great at bats up and down the lineup. Uh, I mean, I don't know. There's not a team out there that I would look at right now and say the Astros don't have a coin flip chance of beating them in a 5 or 7 game series. I mean, I don't know what else they have to do. They're they're the best team in baseball, and they're not even good. They don't even have all their good players right now. So imagine what happens when they're allowed to start using all of their good players. Watch out.
I mean, when you talk, I mean, are you trying to short Zach Short?
I would never. We stan a short king. So we love Zach Short. We all know Zach Short. We could pick Zach Short out of a lineup, and we know how good he is at baseball. Way to go, Zach Short. Zach with a K. I've learned. I did it wrong the first 2 times I texted about him, but Zach with a K. Not when he's swinging though, baby. Am I right?
Now, I'm so mad I teed you up for that one. I am so mad. I mean, like, this has now reached like beyond explanation. Like, I can't come here and give you some well articulated, data driven analysis of how they're doing this. When you get Zach Short that to give you 3 hits in a game, and then he got a hit on Saturday as well, got a big 2-run double down the line to after the Dodgers had gone ahead against Framber Valdez. When Zach Short comes in and does what he does, Jake Myers' calf tightens up midway through the game. They put in Taylor Trammell, who had himself a calf injury that cost him the first 3 months of this season. They put him in the game, and he slides to make a catch on a 104-mile-an-hour missile from Freddie Freeman as the tying run in the 8th inning. The vibes are high. Like, and look, vibes are unquantifiable. You can't, say this is why they're doing it. Like, they're just living right now. And this is, I don't want this to be misconstrued as I'm saying they got lucky in any way, but like, you watch these 3 games at Dodger Stadium, and like every break, every bounce, everything that could go right for them went right. Cooper Hummel completely whiffed on a ball in left field in a huge spot in Saturday's game, and Mookie Betts makes a ill-advised read, tries to go to third. They do the relay, and he's out by 10 feet. Even the play we talked about in Colorado with Cam Smith. Cam Smith completely misjudges a Mickey Moniak triple off the bat. They still somehow get a good relay together, get the run out at home. Everything is going their way. Will it stay like this? Probably not. It probably won't. They probably won't keep this run of just luck and just having the breaks go their way. It won't sustain this long. And I'm not sitting here trying to say that they are 20 games over 500 because they've gotten a bunch of good breaks. If they had a bunch of good breaks, then Yordan Alvarez and Jeremy Pena wouldn't be broken. They'd be in the lineup. But Tyler, to watch what this team has done almost defies explanation.
Look, I think this is proof of the power of friendship. This is a team that gets along. They're held together by duct tape and vibes, and it's working. I mean, the Dodgers are a Fortune 500 company that, should be able to handle this. But they just couldn't match up against the juggernauts of Ryan Gusto and Zach Short and Cooper Hummel. What are you going to do when you run into a wagon like that? sometimes you just got to take the L's, and that's what the Dodgers had to do. Of course, the Astros had to go through the gauntlet of the NL West. That's why they couldn't make it out with a clean sweep. Sometimes you run into the Rockies, and there's nothing you can do to get out of there unscathed. You remember when they won 18-1? That was cool.
That was something. That was and I want to say something real quick just about this series in general. Making wide sweeping judgments after 3 games in July can be misguided at times. I don't think we watch this series and now we all of a sudden think the Astros are light years better than the Dodgers. The Dodgers, if Ryan Robleski, Ben Kasparius, Noah Cameron, or whoever, if some of the guys that pitched this weekend are pitching playoff innings for them, things have gone incredibly wrong. This is a Dodgers team that does not have Max Muncy. The Astros did not face Yamamoto or Kershaw. This is a team that has Blake Snell on the IL, Roki Sasaki on the IL, and Tyler Glasnow on the IL. Conversely, if Zach Short is taking a playoff at bat for the Astros, things have gone terribly wrong. Same thing with Taylor Trammell. Same thing for Ryan Gusto. If Ryan Gusto is pitching 7 innings in a playoff game, something has gone horribly wrong. That just goes to show you that these two teams are going to change. Like the teams you saw out there this weekend will not be the teams that are out there in October and November. It's why you need to stop yourself sometimes when you get so caught up in winning these games, winning these regular season games because of just the state of the teams. But can take nothing away from the Astros, who went in there extremely shorthanded as the Dodgers, and completely outclassed them for 3 games. Like, they played every facet of the game. They were better. The 18-1 game, it feels like this offense had just been waiting for that for 3 months now. They've had a couple outlier games. I think they scored 11 or 12 on the Angels at one point. I think, didn't they put up a big run game against the Rays at home? So, like, they've had some outlier big performances, but just up and down the lineup on Friday, just anything that got thrown got hit all around. It was every pitch. It was early in count, late in count, every type of spin, off speed. They were locked in and they were on everything. And I think that's the offense that a lot of fans have been waiting for. I don't know if that's certainly not going to be the offense you get for the next, 60 games of this season, but it was a welcome sign nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, Isaac Paredes had one of my favorite versions of home runs, which is where he hit it so fast the score bug hadn't even come up on the TV. It was still popping up to show that it was the first inning and the first pitch, and the ball was already flying out. I mean, literally from the first pitch of this series, the Astros led and didn't relent. I mean, they were just a better team all around, up and down. And I mean, you're right. The Dodgers were missing a lot of people, but so are the Astros. That's how baseball works. And I mean, we've said it so many times, but it truly feels like you could throw anybody in an Astros uniform and they would come up and perform in their 95th percentile projection ratings immediately. They keep doing it. I don't know what to say anymore other than they just keep. I mean, Ryan Gusto shut down the Dodgers for 6 innings today. Lance McCullers had a great start, bouncing back after, a really rough one. And I mean, Fromber had the worst start of any, starter this weekend. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't, a top tier Fromber start. I mean, they looked great up and down the lineup. A lot of fun to watch. What a fun series.
Yeah, and to me, that's the hallmark of a good team, right? If your ace goes out there and doesn't have his best stuff, which it was pretty clear Fromber didn't, he still got him through 6 innings. And when we say he didn't have his best stuff, he was also facing like the best lineup in baseball. It's not as if he was facing the Rockies again. But he didn't. He gave up home runs, which is uncharacteristic of him. His curveball was left up a little bit. Everything was just up a little bit. And, the Dodgers did what a good lineup should do against a guy with a little bit of diminished stuff. But the fact that the Astros can win despite that, that's the hallmark of a good team. When you don't have to rely on Fromber going out there and giving you 7 innings of shutout ball to have a chance against a good team. They had built a nice lead. Fromber pitched around what he could. He kept them in the game. And then I mean, Tyler, Saturday just demonstrated why the Astros are paying Josh Hader $95 million. I mean, that was a $95 million appearance, save, everything. He was electric.
Yeah, that dude is very good at throwing baseballs. And also, look, for as much heat as Espada took for kind of resting the bullpen at the end of the Rocky series, he got to use all of his big guns in this series. And I think if you told Astros fans you'll take a coin flip against the Rockies to have all of your big guns and come away with a sweep against the Dodgers, I think most people would make that trade.
Yeah, it's almost like they kind of know what they're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like they know what they're doing.
Watch out.
Yeah, watch out. Once they really get to know what's going on, then it's over for the rest of the league.
Well, once the hitting coaches start trying.
I know, right? Did you know, leaving Dodger Stadium today, they have the best batting average in baseball? The Astros do.
That's not true.
You want to go look it up?
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Go look it up.
That's hilarious. Oh,
they have the highest batting average in baseball. Now, I think they have the 8th highest OPS. Their slugging percentage is still low, and it's the one thing about this lineup that they have needed more of, and it's the one thing that in the playoffs could come to bite them, because as we have seen, home runs and pitching win in the playoffs. The Astros have pitching in droves. They do not currently have home runs. Maybe they will when Yordan Alvarez gets back. But
if Christian Walker gets to play against the NL West, apparently he's friggin' Barry Bonds over there for some reason.
Remember how I kind of shaded TK and Blum for always bringing up how good he was against the Rockies? I mean, maybe there is something to it. He just walked into Dodger Stadium and turned into Babe Ruth. Like, that was incredible.
Yeah. He broke his streak, which is embarrassing for him. He missed one game of hitting a home run at Dodger Stadium, but yeah, I don't know. Something clicks for him over there, and look, the teams that you're going to be seeing in the World Series, it's probably going to be Dodgers or Padres over there. So at least we know you got a sleeper agent in Christian Walker ready to unleash against the NL West.
You're penciling in the World Series already. That's what this weekend.
Oh, I'm penning it in. It's written in blood at this point.
Good, great, love that.
We agreed July 6th is when we decide what happens for the season. Right as everyone gets hurt, that's when you decide who's going. But I mean, again, who are you scared of in the American League? Anything can happen, right? But I don't see another team in the American League, even with the trade deadline coming up, even with acquisitions. I don't see a team that you look at and go like, everybody's chasing that team. And there is something to be said about the playoff experience that the Astros have just as an organization, that even if two teams are equal talent-wise, I'll take the Astros every time because they've been there so often.
And again, and Astros fans know this all too well because they watched what was maybe the greatest team this franchise has ever assembled in 2019 not win the World Series. You can do whatever you want in the regular. Like, the Dodgers are living proof of this. Like, you can do whatever you want in the regular season. You can win 100 and however many games and be as dominant as you want. When you get to the playoffs, it comes down to matchups, it comes down to health, and it comes down to who's playing the best at the right time. Like, the Rangers got hot when it mattered in 2023. The same thing with the D-backs. It rarely works out that the best team in the regular season wins the World Series. It happened last year with the Dodgers. It happened in 2022 with the Astros. But it rarely works out that perfectly. That goes that linear. So a lot can change, as we just talked about. A lot can change between now and October when the playoffs start. But as you said, Tyler, like, there is no team right now that I look at and like, oh man, the Astros can't match up, because we have seen everything that the National League has to offer. Like, I mean, they beat the Padres in a series. They beat the Phillies. They beat the Cubs. They beat the Dodgers in a series. They did not beat the Giants. The Giants are the only team that has swept. They swept them. That's the only team that they have not been able to beat out of the NL. So they've seen everything the NL has to offer, and they've conquered it with flying colors. Now, those teams all look different after the deadline. Those teams could have injuries. Those teams could have guys get healthy. And no, the Astros aren't going to get to face like Ben Kasparius and Ryan Robleski and Emmett Sheehan all the time. They're going to have to face the Dodgers' actual good pitchers. But
They call him Robleski because the W is silent. I don't know if you know that, Chandler.
The W was silent for the Dodgers.
Look, that's what I'm saying. Pay attention. This is a good joke. Okay,
it's a great joke, and it's
Thank
a great segue into a new segment that we have, and it's called the DraftKings Player Spotlight. Tyler, it's tough to look at anyone that we can do this spotlight about. It's got to be Jose Altuve and what he just did, walking into a place that we all know he is not beloved. He is not well liked in Dodger Stadium, and he went in there and does what he does best. He silenced a lot of people that hate him, and he put the team on his back for 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, you go into Dodger Stadium, you know you're just going to get booed like crazy, and Altuve goes in there, goes 6 for 11, 3 home runs, just hitting tanks out there. I don't know if you saw the Robert Ford radio call of his home run today.
I listened to it. I didn't see it.
Okay. You know what? I forgot. You can't even watch games. You're not a real reporter. Sorry, I'm over here, boots on the ground, eyes on the team. But Robert Ford and his home run call today, I think finally got fed up and yelled "boo" louder at the end of a home run call, which is among the more aggressive things we heard an announcer say this weekend. We can get to that later. But yeah, Jose Altuve was just great. In his last 9 games, last 10 games, he's hitting, 325, I believe. He's really heating up right now. We've always said, he goes in these streaks like this. You start to get worried about him, and then you look up and he does what he just did, where he bats 500 for a weekend against one of the best teams in baseball. And so yeah, that's the player we want to spotlight. On DraftKings, there are some props that you can do. Do we need to read that, or do you want me to give them?
No, let's take a look at the Pick Six site. This is an example. We're just giving you guys an example. If you're on YouTube, you can look and see kind of some things you can do on Pick Six. And this is a way that you can just pick more or less. It's prop bets for your favorite players. You can pick more or less on what they're going to do in that game. And Tyler, did you find some bets? Do you find some bets for Jose Altuve coming up in this Guardian series?
Yeah, so I was looking on DraftKings tomorrow. You can take a bet on what Altuve will do in the first inning. I would not take a walk. That is not what I would assume. But I'm going to go a single. It's plus 425. He, like I said, he's been putting bat to ball a lot. Tanner Bybee throws a ton of breaking balls and off-speed stuff to righties, and I can just already picture in my head Altuve rolling over on one on accident in between the shortstop and on third base on the first pitch of the at-bat and getting a little infield hit. So that's what I'm looking at. Another one you can do is like I said, just prop bets on there. Walks in the first inning. So Colton Gordon is starting for the Astros tomorrow. He has 7 walks this season in 45 innings. So I'm going to take the under on walks. So under 0.5. So basically no walks in the first inning combined between the Guardians and Astros is minus 105. So essentially even money there. I think those are two pretty good ones for tomorrow.
And let's let you guys look back at the Pick Six app. Pick Six from DraftKings is the most fun way to play fantasy sports. Download the DraftKings Pick Six app now and use code FOUL. That's code FOUL for new customers to get a special sign-up offer. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick Six from DraftKings. And
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick Six not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see picksix.draftkings.com/promos.
Nailed it. This is like an acting reel for your future voice acting auditions. You're crushing it with the ad reads. Way to go.
Yeah, this is my new calling. I'm gonna give up this journalism crap soon and just get paid to talk into a microphone for random companies. I'd love that.
You famously can talk really fast too, so all the radio ads will love you.
They will. Speaking of people that talk fast but are not loved, Orel Hershiser had some things to say during Friday's 18-1 bloodbath at Dodger Stadium. Here we go. So he stirred the pot. Let's not bury the lead. I'm going to read verbatim what Orel Hershiser said on the broadcast. And it was in the top of the third inning. The Astros were up 4-1, and they were absolutely destroying Ben Kasparius. Orel Hershiser, after I believe it was Jake Meyer, it was Cam Smith. Cam Smith had just hit a double on a hanging breaking ball. And Orel Hershiser said, "I don't want to open an old wound, but in some ways they're swinging at these breaking balls like they know what's coming."
Cam Smith hype train takes its first victim. It knocked Orel Hershiser to the ground. He couldn't handle watching my man out there just raking doubles.
All right, Tyler, you're the fan here. I want your react because I don't think fans are going to love what I have to say about it. So let them hear the good news first. You hear that from Orel Hershiser. What was your immediate reaction?
I hope they're cheating even harder. I hope that they've like T2 Terminator style. They have like bionicle contact lenses that are seeing through the glove, and it's ridiculous. I know it was kind of a throwaway thing. I mean, it's red meat to the people that listen to the Dodgers broadcast. Like in the same way that, when you watch an Astros broadcast, they are not talking as if they are speaking to the nation. They are speaking to fans of that team.
Right.
So I understand it's a different thing. Like if he had been on Fox, he would not have said that. I would assume.
No.
So again, I get that it's a local broadcast. Your team is getting destroyed. It's the team that I'm sure, same as us, like his Twitter was blowing up all weekend about, the Astros coming in, like I get that. It's ridiculous. Like, of course that's not happening. I mean, first off, no one in the Astros organization other than Altuve basically is still here from 2017. I mean, it's rich coming from the team that employs Mookie Betts to complain about sign stealing. It's annoying. It's something that the Astros are just always gonna deal with, at least for as long as, one, Altuve's on the team, and two, they're good. Like as soon as the Astros have 3 seasons where they're irrelevant, it resets. You're not going to talk about that anymore. But I mean, the fact that it's been almost 10 years and people are still talking about it because they've been good the whole time since, that's why. It's because they keep hitting. I mean, as we all know, they have the best batting average in the league. So, clearly they're doing something. But look, it's frustrating. I get, like I said, I understand why he said it. It's annoying to hear as an Astros fan. It's honestly the thing that annoys me the most is that everyone should get to love Jose Altuve, and it like makes me sad that other fan bases hate Altuve and they are robbed of the joy of getting to watch Jose Altuve because he's so fun. And so that's the most frustrating part. But yeah, I mean, look, Cam Smith was in diapers, I think, whenever, the Astros had the sign stealing stuff. So yeah, it was frustrating. But what are you going to do? You sweep them and you move on. and that's what the Astros did.
Okay, so I'm going to try to look at it from a very down the middle perspective here. The one thing that always sticks out to me when we bring this discussion up about the scandal and about 2017, remember the day that they got together in West Palm. They had that horrific press conference outside where Jim Crane made a fool of himself, and then Altuve and Bregman read those awful prepared statements. Remember that day?
I do remember that day.
Okay, so after that, and this rarely gets talked about because the press conference was so bad. After that, they opened the clubhouse, and we walked in that clubhouse, and every member of the 2017 team that the Astros still employed was it looked like we were in high school. They were standing like arms in front of their stuff, like in front of their lockers waiting for us. And they were just all available. We'll ask Reddick about it the next time we have him on because he was in there. He was among them. And one thing Justin Verlander said in his scrum that always stuck with me and that resonated in my head when this was going on. He said, "We have lost all benefit of the doubt." He said that verbatim. He said, he said, "I can sit here and I can tell you everything about, I didn't want to do it. I was a pitcher. I had nothing to do with it. But at the end of the day, we have lost all benefit of the doubt." And he said, "It is something we are going to have to take with us for however long we play." And he's right. He is 100% right. And that entered my head when I heard Orel Hershiser say this. It is one of these things that you're right, Tyler. Until Jose Altuve is gone, and it feels very unfair to just put it on him, but he, in a lot of ways, is and does not deserve to be the face of it, but he is. Until they go into a full rebuild or until he leaves, it's one of these things that's going to carry on with them. I will say this in defense of Orel Hershiser. What he meant and what he went on to say is he thought that the Astros had something on Ben Kasparius. He thought that the Astros had something on Kasparius tipping his pitches, which, to be honest with you, as I was watching and listening to that game, I thought the exact same thing. Because Ben Kasparius threw 59 pitches against the Astros. They swung at 33 of them and missed 7 of them. The average exit velocity on the 15 balls in play they put off of Ben Kasparius was 97.5 miles an hour. I think the world of some of the Astros hitters. I think they have a better lineup than a lot of people give them credit for. That's not normal at the big league level. That, to me, screams that they had something on Ben. And again, that is not illegal. The Astros should be commended if they found that tell on Ben Kasparius, because Kasparius has been pitching very well for the Dodgers leading up to that start. Some of it may have just been he was leaving a bunch of pitches middle. Some of it may have been that the Astros just, as Orel Hershiser intimated, knew what he was maybe going to throw. They had his sequencing down. They saw something with his glove or his windup. The Astros are really good at that. They are good at diagnosing tells from opposing pitchers. So I think, actually I know, because I listened to Orel Hershiser's, all of his comments, I know that's what he meant. He didn't need to put the precursor to that. He didn't need to say, "Oh, I'm going to open up old wounds again." Just say, the Astros are swinging like they know what's coming, and it's because they may have something on Ben Kasparius. And then Orel Hershiser, one of the greatest pitchers in modern history, can give us a nice explanation about tipping pitches and, what you need to do, how maybe when you're tipping or maybe when you're doing something wrong. That segues, I'm not telling him how to broadcast, but that segues into him being able to give a lot of insight in a game that by that point, him and Joe Davis were probably opening the media guide to read the media guide out loud for the next 7 innings because the Astros were kicking their ass. So I understand why fans are mad. If I was a fan, I would probably be mad. I don't get that emotionally involved in the Astros win or lose. They're just kind of like my job. So I can't get that worked up one way or the other. At the end of the day, I know what he meant and I know what he was trying to say. The delivery needed some work.
Would you like me to read a selection of Orel Hershiser's Wikipedia page for you?
Oh God. Sure.
So in 1997, he was on the Cleveland baseball team in the ALCS.
You can call them the Indians. They were the Indians back then.
Well, I'll stick with Cleveland for now. But it says, after the game, Orioles manager Davey Johnson accused him, Hershiser, of putting water on the back of his neck in order to modify the ball to sink. When asked about it, his teammate Chad
Is it Chad Oj?
Oj, that's exactly, yeah.
OGEA.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to know?
He said,
would you like to know where he went to college?
Come on, why do you know that?
He's on the 1993 national championship team. Come on.
Why do you know that? You weren't even born, you weirdo.
I was born that year. That's why I know. Continue.
Okay. He said, I've been around Orel 3 years. He cheats, but everyone else does too. He showed me how to cheat, but he said I couldn't use it until I was about 35. Get off me, Orel Hershiser. Okay? Like, look, baseball is a game of cheaters. That's the fun of baseball. And I don't want to hear it. All right? Like, get off your high horse. You got beat. You got beat again this weekend. Move on. And that's the last we can talk about that.
Okay, yeah. Again, I am not Orel Hershiser's target audience to piss off in this situation. I'm just like a neutral observer of the game. I knew what he was trying to say, but I also knew the minute I heard what he said to begin his statement that it was going to spread the way it did, and all these media outlets that need clicks automatically had a story up within 10 minutes to get the clicks that they so fervently needed. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to everyone on Twitter that wanted to play tough guy and was challenging Orel Hershiser to fights. I hope he takes you up on some of those, and I hope you survive because he's a large man.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to fight Orel.
No, Hershiser. You should. We'll talk. The Astros have some All-Stars, Tyler. We learned that today. We will talk about who did get in and who didn't get in right after a message from our friends at Foul Territory.
Building a hair growth routine is easy only if you go with Nutrafol. Why is that, Todd Father?
Nutrafol, you think about hair. For me, sometimes the hair gets thinning. This thing will thicken your hair up as much as you need. You think about going to weddings or going to the beach or just hanging out with friends and you want to take photos. You want your hair to look good, and this is the best possibility for it.
Yeah, and thinning hair is different for men and women, so a one-size-fits-all approach to hair growth, that's not it, okay? They have multiple formulas for men and for women that are tailored to fit different stages of life, okay? So go check out Nutrafol. Building a hair growth routine can be easy, and you order online. There's no prescription needed as well. Free shipping, automated deliveries, and for a limited time, Nutrafol is offering the FT fam $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code FOUL, F-O-U-L. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code FOUL.
So maybe another incredible part of this Astros start being 20 games above 500. They're not going to have a position player start the All-Star game. They may not have a player at all start the All-Star game. That depends on Hunter Brown's pitching schedule and depends on who Aaron Boone wants to start for the American League. But we did find out officially on Sunday what we have all known for a very long time, that Hunter Brown will be an American League All-Star. So will Josh Hader, and so will Jeremy Pena. Jeremy Pena I would be surprised if Jeremy Pena actually plays in the game. He will probably go to Atlanta to participate in the festivities and see that for the first time. Hunter Brown, probably the same thing. Josh Hader is going to go for the 6th time. Did you see the video that they put up of Joe Espada telling the clubhouse that they all were All-Stars?
No.
It looked like, I can't say that this is for sure, but so to give everybody a little inside baseball, on getaway days, there's usually a very late bus that leaves the team hotel, and that's reserved for the Altuves of the world, the guys with a ton of service time. They ride the late bus to the ballpark. And it looked like Joe called the meeting a little bit early. And as he had gone around, and I think he announced Hunter got All-Star first, and then he announced Pena. And then as he's talking about, and our last guy is our closer, blah, 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 Josh Hader walked in with his suitcase and street clothes. Like, it couldn't have been more perfect timing that, like, Josh Hader was on the late bus, got there late, and got told he's going to the All-Star game for the 6th time.
The man knows how to show up late and get the job done. That's what you want from your closer.
He knows how to make a grand finale.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler, was kind of a foregone conclusion that those 3 guys were going to the All-Star game. Who didn't get elected that surprised you, and who do you think is maybe the biggest snub on the Astros that did not make the All-Star team?
Zach Short is literally hitting 667. What does this man have to do to get on the All-Star team? I mean, Fromber's probably going to get in with with injuries and with pitchers throwing those 2 days before the All-Star break. I would imagine he gets in. I mean, this was never going to happen, but Jake Myers has had a better year than other outfielders on the All-Star team this year. Again, I understand that that's not going to happen, but he's had a great year. Certainly deserves at least recognition of the year that he's had so far. But Fromber is the big one. We talked about this too. If Brian Abreu played for literally any other team, he would be in, but he's not a closer, so
Right.
he's not going to get in. That's just how it works. They're not going to have two relievers from the same team, and especially one who's not a closer, make the All-Star team. But those are the guys that you look at as, okay, they were close. But there wasn't anything like egregious. Like I don't think Fromber has had a demonstrably better year than any of the guys that got in over him, given that some teams have to have a player, like some teams just have to have a guy go. And so sometimes those guys are not going to be as good as guys on other teams. But I didn't think there was anything that people should be up in arms about, but that's not the way the internet works. So I assume that people were very up in arms in your mentions today.
Well, it's funny, like there's people that are talking out of both sides of their mouth in my mentions. Half of them are like the whole team needs to be all-stars, and the other half is like we don't want any of them to be all-stars because we don't want any of them to go to the game because we all just want them to go lay on their couch for 5 days and get ready for the second half. You can't have it both ways. You can't want no one to go to the All-Star game and then get mad when like guys on your team don't get elected to the All-Star game. So
you know how good your team has have been for so long that you're like, I don't want my guys going to the All-Star game. Like, dude, I remember Jason Castro being an All-Star, and I remember watching that whole game, and he didn't even play, but I watched the whole thing waiting for Jason Castro to take one at bat in a meaningless, or I guess probably not meaningless at that time.
At that point,
I think that time it counted, trademark. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. The All-Star game's a ton of fun. Like, I get what people mean of like, I want you to rest or whatever, but these are 20-year-old super freak. Like they're fine. They can go to Atlanta for a day and play in an All-Star game.
You see, I think Astros fans, and again, please comment and yell at me if I'm wrong, but I think it stems more from like there's this ever since we brought up the scandal, there is this fundamental hatred of the league and Major League Baseball by a section of Astros fans, and they don't want the Astros going to anything that the league, quote unquote, puts on. And I think that is a flawed way to look at things, because why would you rob Jeremy Pena and Hunter Brown of what could be, you hope it's not, but what could be a once in a lifetime experience, going to the All-Star game and mingling with, legends. I mean, Clayton Kershaw is going to be the legend in this All-Star game. Like, that's going to be a core memory for Hunter Brown, going to an All-Star game with Clayton Kershaw. Like, are you kidding me? Josh Hader's done it 6 times, but I'm sure he's got a young son. I'm sure it would be nice to take his son to Atlanta, walk the red carpet or whatever color carpet it's going to be this year, and, have fun with him there.
Go to the Coca-Cola Museum,
perhaps go to the College Football Hall of Fame.
Is that in Atlanta?
That's in Atlanta.
Okay.
LSU's very prevalent there.
Find a hobby. This is embarrassing.
I don't know if Texas A&M's in there much. Billy Lucci got to spend more money to get Texas A&M there.
You know what? Now's not the time. There are too many Astros things to discuss.
But I am with you on the Fromber thing, and I'm going to pull up real quick. This is the list of American League pitchers, and if you're on YouTube, you can see it. I'll read it aloud very quickly for those of you listening. It's Hunter Brown, Chris Bubic, Aroldis Chapman, Garrett Crochet, Jacob deGrom, Max Fried, Josh Hader, former Astro Yusei Kikuchi, Andres Munoz, Tarek Skubal, Shane Smith, and Brian Wu. It's hard for me to take any umbrage with any of those. It's hard for me to find Fromber a spot on that. Like, it's not as if there's someone on there that is completely undeserving, and Fromber deserves their spot. You can say it about Shane Smith of the White Sox, but
Don't be mean to the White Sox.
Every team has to have a representative, and Shane Smith is the White Sox lone representative. So Fromber got hurt there, but also Shane Smith, he's been pretty good. Like, he's not been Fromber, but he's got a 3.86 ERA and a 1.08 ERA plus and 80 innings pitched. I mean, that's not terrible.
Did you know he was a Rule 5 pick last year?
I think he's the first or second ever Rule 5.
I know the first one. Do you?
Should I?
Yeah. Well, I only know this because my friends at the Cespedes Family Barbecue are obsessed with him. It's not Yoenis Cespedes. But there's been one other player who was a Rule 5 pick and the next year was in the All-Star game.
How recent was
it? You're never going to guess this.
Okay.
It was Dan Uggla.
Oh, nice. That's good company, man. Dan Uggla had a good career.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I mean, look, you look at that, and like you said, there's nobody in there that you're just like, how dare they include this person? And like we said, Fromber's going to get in. Like, he's next on that list. One of those guys is not going to be available, and Fromber will get in. So it's going to end up not even mattering. Love that Astros legend Yusei Kikuchi is in there. Good for him. I also, hand up, love that Jacob deGrom is crushing it this year. What a treat that he is healthy and just firing missiles at people. Good for Jacob deGrom. Now, I can't watch them because Comcast doesn't carry the Rangers network and they're blacked out here. So I just literally haven't seen the Rangers this year. So I don't know what they're up to over there. But good for Jacob deGrom. That's a fun one.
I have great news for you. Presuming Jacob deGrom stays healthy between now and then, and presuming the Rangers don't alter their rotation, he is on schedule to pitch on Saturday at Dyken Park against the Astros.
So not available for the All-Star game.
No, he can pitch. That'd be his bullpen day.
Saturday? Okay.
That'd be his bullpen day. So
it's Sunday that matters.
Now, I don't know if they'd want to, given Jacob deGrom's lengthy history, I don't know if they'd want to risk even pitching him in an exhibition game for one inning, but he would be ostensibly available if he pitches on Saturday. The Astros did alter their rotation, and it could mean that Hunter Brown would be available to pitch in the All-Star game. He's going to start on Tuesday against the Guardians. Now, if
for
he would
Orbit Turkey Day,
for Orbit Turkey Day, or for Friends Night, I want
someone get us one, please.
Find
Chandler, hand it to him.
Astros marketing department, I want something.
Yeah, come on.
For saying that it is Friends Night on Tuesday at Dyken Park, and you should go watch Hunter Brown pitch against somebody named Joey Cantillo from the Guardians. But if they can do a lot of different things. The fifth day from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that'd be Sunday. They could start Hunter Brown on Sunday in the first half finale against the Rangers. That is an important game. It's a division game, even though you're 7 games up. Who knows what could happen between now and then. That could be an important game. They could also start someone else and have Hunter Brown fresh and could pitch in the All-Star game, could start the game. He's certainly a contender to start. Tarek Skubal would be a contender to start. Aaron Boone is managing the game. Because the Yankees won the American League pennant last year, he has a pitcher named Max Fried, who is also a very logical candidate to start. And
get out of here.
My gut would tell me if Max Fried is available and wants to start the game, I think that's who Aaron Boone would pick, just because it is his player, and part of the reward of winning the pennant is you get to manage the All-Star game and you get to decide who does what in the All-Star game. So I think
Braves legend. That would be fun for him to get to do that in Atlanta.
Yeah, no, that would be nice. It would be a nice full circle. Like,
I'll allow it.
I honestly didn't even think about that connection. So good job.
Well, I'm better than you. I've been saying it for years.
Yeah, you are. So yeah, I think that's the way Aaron Boone would go. But who knows? Like, I haven't looked at the Yankees rotation. I don't know where Max Fried's lined up. I think he started today. So I mean, that I don't think that would line him up. But who knows? Who can say? The Yankees can do whatever they want with their rotation to make him available. But I think Fromber gets in at some point, just as a replacement. Brian Abreu, like you mentioned, is going to get hurt because he's a setup man. If he was a closer for,
don't say that sentence. Rephrase that.
Brian Abreu candidacy weakened because he is a setup man, and it is hard to get relievers into the game, period. Now Shane Smith's the exception, but most of the bad teams that need a representative, it is usually a reliever you've never heard of. So that didn't help him either, but maybe, who knows, maybe Brian Abreu can finagle his way in. I doubt it, but that's just kind of the life he chose, unfortunately.
The life he chose by being under team control for a team that signed a $95 million closer.
Hey, he got moved up to setup man this year. He's slowly making his way up.
There you go.
They're gonna make Josh Hader waive his no trade clause in 2 years, and he's gonna be the closer. Just wait. I'm kidding. That's not gonna happen.
Hey,
Guardians.
Did you see that Jordan Weems has a save?
Jordan Weems?
Yeah, from Sunday's game. Jason Alexander. Okay, whatever.
Jordan Weems got DFA'd very quickly. They are
fight me. You could not pick either one of them out of a lineup. Anyway, he got a save, which is fun. I just thought you should know that. So maybe he should get in the All-Star game since he's a closer.
Jason Alexander in the All-Star game would negate Friends Night. It wouldn't help on Friends Night. The Guardians have lost 10 in a row. They're coming.
How? What happened?
They cannot hit. And one of their pitchers may have been betting on games very heavily.
Oh my gosh.
Is now under league investigation. They really can't hit. Jose Ramirez is an unbelievable player. Stephen Kwan is also very, very good. He's an all-star. Aside from those two, this is a team that really can't hit. They can pitch it, though. They've got Emmanuel Clase. They've got a great bullpen. They've got a pretty good rotation. I would imagine these are going to be 3 very low-scoring games.
They do not have a pretty good rotation.
Relatively speaking. They pitch it well. They really can't hit, though. And in response, the Astros are going to pitch Colton Gordon, Hunter Brown, and Brandon Walter. So you would say probably the lesser of the rotation that you could get. They do get Hunter Brown in the middle, but this is just a situation where you're facing a team that has lost 10 games in a row. One of their pitchers is on the ineligible list because they believe he was intentionally throwing first pitch balls to up some action. It's a disaster for the Guardians coming in. The Astros are the complete opposite of that. What are you looking to see at Dyken Park besides getting to know who the Guardians are?
Should we boo them for being cheaters?
You can do whatever.
Should the Astros fans just boo everyone on the Guardians for one guy cheating on their team?
If Blummer is listening to this, like when Tanner Bybee spikes Tanner Bybee spikes.
Boy, it really makes you think. I don't want to bring up old wounds here, but sure looks like a ball thrown intentionally for betting action. Please use that, Blummer. Look, the Astros can't stop winning series. So that's what I'm expecting is you win one of the starts of your little fellas that are on your team who go out there and try their darndest, and you win your Hunter Brown start and you move on to the next series. And that's just they just keep doing it. Hopefully Jake Myers is okay. Hopefully they got him some Gatorade and stretched out whatever was going on.
Even if he's not, Taylor Trammell's going to
he's going to hit 8. He's going to get 8 hits this series. It doesn't matter. That's what you're looking for. Can I tell you, this is another brain tick of mine. We've already talked about Taylor Trammell. I haven't figured out a way to make this work yet. So I'm workshopping it here with you. But every time I see Cooper Hummel's name shortened on the score bug, it's C Hummel, and I read it as Chummel, like the channel in between Paris and London. And so I'm waiting. So if he can hit one of the train tracks, I think that will line it up perfectly where I can make a Chummel joke. But anyway, tweet me your best punchlines to that. But that's what's been stuck in my head for a while.
The way this is going, he's going to hit one of the train tracks the second inning on Monday.
And as a switch hitter, which he does, as we all know, he's got a funny batting stance, man. He's got an 80s style. He's got the kind of grandpa, bent over batting stance. You don't see those too much anymore.
I'll tell you what, he has impressed Astros officials with the
Well,
quality
he keeps
of
playing.
bats. Like, I mean, he's 10 for his first 41 with the Astros. Like, I mean, that's a 794 OPS. It's a small sample size, but like he is putting together good at bats. Like, he's getting run in left field. He's probably going to be one of the reasons that Altuve is going to be not a primary DH, but going to DH a good bit when Pena comes back, because they feel okay putting Hummel out and left, or if they've got to put Dubon out there, he can go out there. They feel like he is giving them real quality at bats. And again, this is a guy that was in camp with them this year. They released him. He went to the Yankees and didn't stick. He went to the Orioles and didn't stick, and then came back here. Zach Short's a journeyman that they got off the waiver wire. Taylor Trammell, kind of the same thing, a nothing trade in the offseason with the Yankees. And I don't know what it is. I don't know how they keep doing it, but it's just they are getting guys up here to produce. I think there's something to be said that all of those guys I just mentioned do have MLB time, do have service time. Like, it can be daunting going to a new team and everything, but these guys have been there, done that. Like, they're not afraid or wowed by the spotlight or a clubhouse. Like, they may not be as talented as the guys in there, but they're not going to go in there scared or like timid. They're going to go in there and just attack. And that's what they've done. And it's been pretty incredible to watch. Something that I still can't really explain, something that we've tried to explain for 50 minutes and probably done a poor job. But if we didn't, you can always rate and review us on Apple and let us know that we did a nice job. You can also rate and review and leave comments on Spotify. You can subscribe on YouTube to the Crush City Territory channel, get notified every time we post a new video. As always, you can follow Tyler on X at Tyler C. Stafford. You can follow me at Chandler_Rome. And then we will be back at some point this week to talk about whatever the Guardians do at Dyken Park, to see if the Astros can extend their losing streak to 13 games. And who knows, we can relitigate the debate with Josh. Are the Astros the best team in baseball? We will talk to you guys soon. And as always, we appreciate you listening. Thanks.
Bye.